guys, why yes, I am in the same shirt. It's 4th of July weekend. I have a ton of people coming over and I wanted to get everything filmed before they showed up. Hey guys, it's Susan. Welcome back to my channel, Hot Mess Quilter. So we just finished cutting all of our squares for the Carpenter Star quilt. Now we're gonna put all those squares that we paired up together. So make sure that you've got your sewing machine ready to go. You have a fresh needle, you have a matching thread, and we're gonna talk a little bit about how to create that 1/4 inch seam when we're piecing this together. So get yourself in position. We've got sewing to do. So let's talk about the 1/4 inch seam. Now your sewing machine plate, as you can see, has lots of markings on it. Most sewing machines are designed for like making clothes, fabric sewing. So your first really good seam allowance you see is 5/8 inch. There's a 1/2 inch, and then you know that the 1/4 inch is going to be smaller than that. So how in the world do we establish a 1/4 inch seam? Well, you can find those little markings if you want to on your machine. What I have done is use tape. This is called diagonal seam tape. I've actually purchased it online. You can get it at Missouri Star Quilt Company. You can find it locally at Hunter's Quilt Mart if you're in the Kansas City, Warrensburg area. But you could probably get it on Amazon too, all right? This is wonderful because it is tape. It's like a washi tape, but it's marked at the 1/4 inch seam. And here's how it works. All right, so here is my needle down. So you see the gold needle. Do you see that the gold needle is right on that red line, okay? On either side of that red line is the perfect 1/4 inch. So when I'm stitching, I can line up the edge of my fabric right on that 1/4 inch line. So hard to do. And by keeping my eye down here, I am making sure that the entire time that fabric has remained on that 1/4 inch line. Okay, and I get a nice 1/4 inch seam all the way down. Okay, so as you can see, the edge of that fabric is on that 1/4 inch line. Okay, so we're taking those squares that we paired up in the last video and we're putting them right sides together. To sewing, have some pins handy. We're going to line up our squares right sides together, and I'm just going to pop a few pins in. Okay, so we're going to line them up. Okay. So I've got it pinned right sides together all the way around. We've already talked about our 1/4 inch seam. So now I am going to use my diagonal seam tape and line up the edge of this fabric square on the diagonal seam tape. I gotta get my shoes off. And then I'm gonna sew a 1/4 inch seam all the way around this square. I probably should have checked my bobbin. You don't have to go fast. We're just using that 1/4 inch. Do not run over your needles. So you want to take those out. If you're not super confident, you can go slow and make sure. But I don't know if you can see, but I am making sure that this edge of my fabric all the way down is in line with my 1/4 inch seam tape. Okay, so I'm going to get over here to the edge of the corner. I can sew all the way off if I want to, or I can put the needle down and flip it where I think the 1/4 edge is going to be. Actually, it might be easier for you just to sew off the edge and then realign it back up. I've only got one more side to go. Line up for that perfect 1/4 inch seam, and away we go. Okay. All right, there's one done. Okay, so I want to show you a little thing. So you guys all probably have bought rulers. On most rulers, there is a 1/4 inch seam. So do you see that? It's even marked right here where my finger is, 1/4 inch. So this little bitty edge right here that looks kind of opaque is a 1/4 inch. So we just sewed all those 1/4 inch seams. I just want to show you how great of a job you did. You see my sew line right there? See my stitch line under the ruler? You can see it a little bit. If I line it up to the 1/4 inch line of the ruler, my fabric disappears. We have 1/4 inch seams, people. Okay, so I am going to turn my iron on. So I'm going to have that going because I'm going to do a little bit of pressing here. So now we have a square completely sewn together. What the heck do we do with it now? Well, this is where the magic happens. We are going to line our top of our square up with any number on your mat. Mine just happens to be on the 12-inch line. So the top corner is going to line up on the 12-inch line, and the bottom corner is going to line up on the 12-inch line. And I'm going to take my ruler and place it where? On the 12-inch line. I've got my cutter, and I'm going to cut along that 12-inch line. Now I have 2 triangles. Now what the heck do I do with them? Okay, I'm going to lay the top of that triangle on the 12-inch line. I'm going to make sure that the bottom edge is even along one of the ruler lines and the top of the corner is up. I'm going to take that and I'm going to make another cut. Here's where the magic happens. We open this up, and what do we have but 2 perfect half square triangles. Now, because I have my iron on, I'm going to go here and press these edges. Now, we don't iron and smush, we press. So you're just going to go along and press that seam. Okay, so you are going to sew all your triangles, cut them all up. Then we're going to talk about what to do with these dog ears and what we're going to do to finish all of these up. So go get to stitching. Now that you've got all of your half square triangles pressed and open, do you see how cool the magic of that is? We took 2 pieces, sewed them together, and ended up with 4 sweet little half square triangles. We are going to need to square these blocks up to 7.5 inches. So you're going to take one edge of your block and line it up on the line. We're going to count over 7.5 inches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.5. And we are going to square that up. I did a couple errors, so I want to make sure you guys are good on that. So we want to square these up to 7.5 inches. So we want to make sure that our first cut, the diagonal is running this direction, okay? So we line up the edge over here on our 1-inch line, line up our ruler on our 7.5 inch line, and we're going to make the cut. Okay, so after you make that cut, this is what I want you to do. I want you to turn it, I guess that's clockwise, to your right. You're going to line up the edge, and you're going to do the same thing. Find that 7.5 inch line, line it up, 7.5 inch, 7.5 inch, and make your. Now we have a perfect half square triangle.